Happy 248th birthday, America. We will celebrate by what we usually do on a Thursday morning, and that is bring you an episode of Our Town here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swenson, and Our Town is brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Decorah Bank and Trust. A little bit later on in the program, we will preview next week's Winneshiek County Fair with Sandra Lien from the Winneshiek County Fair Board. And of course, there's 4th of July fun going on this weekend. The Spillville celebration at the Inwood Ballroom in Riverside Park will take place on Saturday. We'll break that down with Spillville Mayor Paul Wermers. Harmony, the 4th of July is so much fun up in Harmony. They made it into a 4-day event. They got things going last night. They'll continue today and go into Saturday. Erica Tilges is with us. She is with the Harmony Chamber of Commerce, and she'll talk about the remaining activities for the Harmony 4th of July celebration. Of course, we want you to be safe this weekend when you're traveling out and about. Trevor Thomas with the Decorah Police Department will talk about a special traffic enforcement program that is underway. But our first guest this morning is the veterinarian for the state of Iowa, Dr. Jeff Kaisand. Recently, it was announced that there will be some regulations, restrictions, requirements in taking your dairy herd to exhibitions, fairs, etc., in regards to the possibility of spreading the avian flu. I had a chance to talk to Dr. Kaisand last week. We'll bring you that interview now to begin the 4th of July edition of Our Town. It's brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust, and you're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Having a conversation this morning with state veterinarian Dr. Jeff Kaisand, and he is going to discuss the new regulations regarding avian influenza within dairy herds and public exhibitions. And Jeff, before we get into the specifics of the new regulations, let's break down how we got to this point. When was it first known that avian influenza could potentially infect dairy herds? When was the first case of this in the United States? When was the first case of it in Iowa?
Sure. And I'm going to give you general because I had the exact dates, but this goes back to the end of January, 1st of February. There were some early reports from Texas of dairy herds experiencing decreased milk production, cows drying up suddenly, milk that was looked like colostrum, yellow tinged in color. So those were some of the first reports, and the first case was in Texas, and I don't remember if it was in February, but that's when it was first diagnosed. Then we saw the situation began to spread due to cow movements. Some of the cow movements from Texas to other states became involved, and probably the first other 4 states involved were Idaho, Michigan, Ohio, and North Carolina. So we saw that early spread. One of the first concerning things then that showed up was in Michigan, that the virus spread from dairy herds into poultry farms. So, and they matched that up by sequencing, and subsequently some of the information we've learned, either some cases of probably people transmission, but other connections between farms. But we had lateral spread from a dairy farm to poultry farms. So has been the concern, and then we've been watching this since the very beginning to try and understand what would happen or what things we need to put in place in Iowa, just because of the importance of poultry production, dairy production, and agriculture in general in Iowa. So I can't give you I'd have to go back and look at the exact dates, but we're probably about at least a month into having positives in Iowa.
And how easy is avian influenza spread from poultry to dairy herds, or vice versa, or between any type of animals?
So that's one of the things that we're trying to learn, is exactly how this is spreading. Anytime you have links of people that could be working on different farms, any type of service people that move from farm to farm, and other connections, whether it's rendering companies that pick up deads, It could be examples of feed delivery. But what we're doing right now in Iowa, and is much similar to a few other states, we are doing as much as we can in interviewing producers and trying to understand, identify those potential connections. The other piece that we've known from the very beginning of this outbreak since 2022 in poultry, that birds can carry avian influenza. Now, what's different right now, what's happened in dairies, is it looks like that it was an initial spillover from wild birds into the first dairy herd, but then it was lateral movement from those cows to different areas. And then again, as I'm mentioning, some of the lateral movements between farms, because some of that is we know that from the epidemiology, the tying farms together, and also the sequence of the virus. So it's not just one thing putting that together, but we are trying as hard as we can right now to identify, with producers' cooperation, what those connections are. And it may not just be one thing. That's why it's very important that producers put biosecurity plans in place on their farm, and looking at how they are connected to what we mentioned is the outside world. Whatever's coming on and off of their farms, they need to make sure they're addressing those and putting biosecurity measures in place.
So, stepping back and looking in the big picture, kind of recapping what you just said, what in general do we know about the transfer of avian influenza? What don't we know? And is it fair to say there's more questions than answers at this point?
Sure, absolutely. There's a lot of questions right now that we're still trying to understand. We do absolutely know that the virus is found in very high levels in the milk of a dairy cow. We know that for sure. It looks like from early experimental work that it just is influenza in people or animals, also the normal transmission route, respiratory, but it's not shed for probably very long in the respiratory route. But we do know for weeks the virus can be found in the milk of cows. So any type of contact with infected milk, whether it's a cow going through a milking parlor, but any contact with milk. So we do know there's cow-to-cow transmission, and movements of cows from an infected farm to another farm can carry the virus. What's not absolutely clear is some of these connections of farms that don't have movements from infected dairy farms. And also in Iowa, we know that the sequence, we've had several poultry farm breaks in Iowa, that the sequence is matching up to what's circulating in dairy farms. So we don't know all of the exact ways it's moving from farm to farm. This virus has been, that what's circulating in dairies has been found in what's called peri-domestic birds, starlings and grackles. It's not as of yet, and it may be because we haven't tested enough wild birds, but it's not been found in the migratory birds. So whether that's a pathway, we're also not sure.
And it was recently announced by State Ag Secretary Mike Naig, the restrictions that have been put in place. Briefly run down what those restrictions are for public exhibitions regarding dairy herds.
Absolutely. Because of what I just mentioned, that we know the virus can be found at high levels in the milk, we wanted to make sure that dairy exhibitions were not going to be a potential source of spread of the disease, because anytime you bring animals from different locations together to a centralized spot and then take them back home, there's always a chance for disease transfer. So what we've put into place is testing of the dairy herds, lactating cows, before they can come to exhibitions. That way, we're hopeful, to the best of our ability, we're making sure that animals are not coming to exhibitions that could be shedding the virus and expose other dairy animals at the exhibition and go back home and infect other herds. So we're trying to make sure that's being done as safely as possible.
And is this all coming to a fruition at kind of a bad time of year, knowing the fact that there's county fairs, many exhibitions, etc., this time of year?
Sure, it's unfortunate timing, but what we're seeing also is we are finding more dairy herds positive in Iowa. So as we continue to, and we're concerned because of those new findings, and want to make sure that if as this disease is spreading between dairy farms, we want to make sure that exhibitions are done in a way that's safe, and we're not going to spread disease. There's no guarantees, but we want to do it in a manner that's as safe as can be.
And related to fairs itself, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there were some new guidelines regarding veterinarians examining any animal that goes to a fair as of a couple of years ago as a result of some other outbreaks coming out. Bring those up on what they specifically are.
Sure. Several years ago, with several concerns, we see pigs that can have vesicles that can look like FMD, and that's a disease that's endemic, but we do regular FAD investigations. So as a concern from that, we met with industry, got input from industry stakeholders, and we changed our rules to address that. And what those rules are is that pigs have to be inspected within 7 days of coming to an exhibition by veterinarians and them issuing a health paper. And that we also then at the exhibition, pigs are to be looked at either before they're unloaded before they're mixed with other pigs, because we want to make sure that pigs coming to exhibitions are not showing any clinical signs, especially of clinical signs of vesicles. But we want to make sure that exhibitions can continue on, but we're doing it in a manner that we're doing the best we can to not spread disease while pigs are at exhibitions.
And related to where we're at right now, in general, what advice would you give to dairy producers on keeping their biohazard plans as up to date as possible, knowing the fact that the information related to this may change on a week by week or perhaps even quicker basis?
Sure. I guess the thing that we always stress, even beyond this situation, is making sure producers have a herd veterinarian, and on a regular basis they're addressing biosecurity on their farm. And the main thing is just having a plan. And this is an evolving situation, but a lot of the core basic disease principles and how diseases transfer are in play here. So having your veterinarian work with you and having a sound biosecurity plan, and that includes, again, what is coming off your farm, making sure things are cleaned and disinfected before they come onto your farm. If you bring new animals onto your farm, do you have an isolation period, an isolation facility, and an isolation period to make sure that, you're not bringing something onto your farm and putting it directly in if it could have a disease that you want to make sure you detect for, making sure your herd veterinarian's talking with that source herd of what the health status is of that herd, where you're getting animals from, and your feed supply, all of those core principles that we do know that should apply to this disease as well as any, but just have a sound plan, continually review it, and work with a herd veterinarian to make sure all of that's in place.
Do we know how dangerous an avian influenza can be to dairy?
In regards to what happens when a dairy becomes infected? Sure. So it is a little bit different, and that's why it's different between what happens in a poultry premise. When high path hits a poultry premise, it's very, very high mortality, kills birds very quickly. In a dairy herd, it's not quite as dramatic as that. It doesn't generally kill cows, but you will see decrease in milk production, increases in the number of sick cows, the number of cows you have to treat. And there can be some mortality associated with it just because of probably secondaries, the cows getting sick and not recovering, but it's not generally it's not high mortality rates, but it's the decrease in milk production. Treating sick animals is the main issues that producers report.
Has there been any documented cases of avian influenza being transmitted to humans, and how concerned should producers be regarding that? What safeguards can they take?
Sure. So there has been at least 3 cases. There was one in Texas. There's been 2 in Michigan. CDC's involved in this outbreak, and everybody's continually monitor it. I would say what's being reported, at least from CDC, that there is a concern, but it's not an extremely high level of concern. But in any time whether it's high pathogen avian influenza or any other disease that has a zoonotic component, producers always should be aware of that. Make sure they're discussing that either with, if it's their family that works on the farm or workers on the farm. Be aware of what clinical signs there are. Make sure if there's something that happens, that some farm workers have some report of a problem, that they report that to public health so follow-up can be done there. So it's not a high level of concern, but it is something producers should be aware of and monitoring.
And of course, the attention we're giving right now is to avian influenza in dairy herds. Are you seeing any increase in avian influenza in poultry right now, knowing the fact that animals are getting it right now? Are you seeing any increase in poultry flocks around the state?
So we had not had a case in poultry flocks since the day before Thanksgiving last fall.
Yeah.
But we have had 3 recent cases. In fact, I believe the last one was last week in a turkey site. So we've had 2 recent outbreaks in turkey facilities and one in a large layer. And those, well, we're waiting for the sequence on one of them, but the sequence of the virus in the other 2 is matching up with the dairy the strain that's been circulating in dairies. So yes, we have had 3 recent cases in Iowa in poultry.
Anything we haven't covered, anything else that the folks need to know as long as you've got the forum this morning?
Sure. I guess the only thing we just always encourage, whether it's a poultry producer or dairy producer or any producer, if there's anything odd clinical signs on a farm, to please report it to us so we can follow up with either testing. And again, I've already stressed it, but the importance of working with a herd veterinarian and making sure you have a biosecurity plan on your farm to protect your farm from disease getting on it.
And how can folks get a hold of you at the Department of Agriculture or anybody else that could answer a question for them? How do they do so?
Sure. Our website has our phone numbers on it, email addresses, but my cell phone, work cell phone, is 515-240-6632. Anybody's always welcome to call that number, and we'll make sure we follow up with them.
Dr. Kaisand, we appreciate you taking some time to talk about this all-important issue. Hopefully, with the exhibitions and fairs starting this year, things can be managed as well as they possibly can, and it doesn't become a bigger issue. We appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Thank you.
Dr. Jeff Kaisand, he is the state veterinarian, talking about the new restrictions regarding dairy herds and exhibitions related to avian influenza. Chatting here with Trevor Thomas. He is with the Decorah Police Department, and it's summer. It's the 4th of July weekend coming up, and it's on a Thursday, so a lot of people probably won't be working Friday and having a lot of fun this weekend, and that means extra enforcement out on the roadways this weekend. Trevor, tell us about the special traffic enforcement program coming up for the 4th of July weekend.
Right. So this month, the beginning of the month, it's going to be July 3rd to July 7th. The Decorah Police Department and other law enforcement agencies around the area team up with the Governor Traffic Safety Bureau for extra patrol. Law enforcement around the state are on high alert for signs of impaired or drunk driving. The goal of it is to get people home safe, have a good holiday weekend. And just, it's overall safety is the goal of it. And again, it's, the 3rd to the 7th.
And I know the phrase that was stated during the press release is nobody is a good drunk driver. And I think I've been guilty of this. Many people could probably say the thing, say, you know what, I've only had 2 or 3 and I'm going to be okay. I can make it home safely. And it's a mindset that probably a lot of people have that we need to get rid of. Is that a fair way to put it?
Right. And I think you're right. A lot of people think that, they've only had a couple. They only feel it a little bit. Well, I mean, there's the other phrase that they use, buzz driving is drunk driving. And, we want people to get out of that mindset that they can have, to the point where they're feeling it and it's affecting them, that becomes impaired driving. And, that's the goal for this wave, and is just to keep people off the roads when they've had too much. What we really want is for people, all that we create plans to meet with friends, we create plans to go see fireworks, and go hang out with friends and family. Create that plan to make it home. Create a plan to get a designated driver, and be proactive about it instead of reactive, where you're out somewhere and then you've had a few too many, and then you have to try to figure out something at that time to get home. Create the plan before you go out, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
And the reason you have these enforcement programs is to keep the roads as safe as possible. And you look at the statistics over the past few years, the 4th of July weekend, a deadly one on Iowa roadways, from what I understand.
That's right. Over the past 5 years, over this weekend, there's been 32 traffic fatalities over this specific holiday, and 50% of those are alcohol related. Again, just some simple planning. We're already planning for our events that we're going to. Just plan ahead for the ride home. Sometimes you just got to be the one that says, "Hey guys, this time I'm going to drive everybody home." And that's what we'd appreciate the most, is just people take time and make plans.
And of course, the other matters related to safe driving, you got to keep your P's and Q's about yourself. That way, seatbelt usage, speeding, unnecessary passing, etc. I'm sure you guys will be looking out for all those things this weekend, in addition to impaired driving, correct?
Absolutely. Like, we realize it's an important holiday. We love to go out and we love to celebrate the 4th of July, just like everybody else. But we also got to make sure we're following the rules and regulations of the road and everything else. We got to be respectful of the other drivers out there. Go out, have a good time, have fun. But do it smart, do it responsible, make some plans, and have a good time.
Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to add on about the step wave coming up over the 4th of July?
I don't think so. Just plan on seeing us out and about. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a wave and wave us down and talk to us. And we'll be out and about.
Trevor, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you and everyone with the Decorah Police Department and all of law enforcement for what they do to keep our community safe.
Thanks, Darren.
Trevor Thomas with the Decorah Police Department. Step wave coming up over the 4th of July. 4th of July celebrations taking place all over the area and in the community of Harmony. The 4th of July is so much fun. They make it a 4-day event. And Erica Tilges is with us from the Harmony Chamber. And Erica, obviously, everything got going with a fun night last night, but the fun just continues coming up today.
Good morning. Yes, we have a big day ahead of us. We're hoping the weather cooperates with us.
And let's run down the activities on the docket for today. Basically, activities starting early this morning, going till this evening, highlighted by the fireworks this evening. Seems like a little bit of something for everyone. Is that a fair way to put it?
Absolutely. We start our day with the pancake breakfast, which is definitely for everybody. That is sponsored by the Harmony Conservation Club and held at the fire hall, and activities keep going throughout the day.
And you got a golf tournament, an obstacle course, bouncy houses, and mini golf. How do you come up with so many ideas that so many people can have so much fun as part of this celebration?
Well, the 4th of July in Harmony has been a big deal for a long time. So a lot of these are just favorites that we couldn't be happy without. And then we've also got a few new things too. We have Lad Canine Agility Course. You can bring your own dog to run through that. We have New Gen Gamers, which is sponsored by My Broadband. So that's a gaming trailer. So a little something for the teenagers, since they're going to they want to stay in their rooms and game anyway. So they can come out and do it at the 4th of July. We have, let's see, something else new too. The Oli and Lena kitchen food truck. That is getting a lot of attention on social media right now. They have lefse, and of course, that's a really big deal in this area.
Oh, that sounds great. Lefse out of a food truck. I've never heard of that before, but you might as well be a trend center this weekend, right?
Right. It sounds like they have like chicken salad on lefse and strawberry and whipped cream. And then, of course, the classic butter and sugar. So it'll be fun to try something new or just stick with what you know you love.
And of course, this afternoon, every festival is highlighted by a grand parade at 3:00. How's that looking when it comes to lining up and entries and everything like that?
We have had a lot of entries. It seems like more come in, after you give everybody their space. So it's looking like a great parade. We're starting it with an airplane flyover. We have the Caledonia Bagpipers, sponsored by Kingsley Mercantile this year. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, before our grand parade at 3, at 2:45, we have our kiddie parade. So that's a fun opportunity for kids to take advantage of that going down our main street.
And of course, at dusk tonight, the fireworks, and obviously it takes a lot to put on a fireworks display. Who's presenting the fireworks? Who are the sponsors that are making those fireworks possible?
Sure. So the fireworks, I believe, are put out by the fire department here in Harmony. The bank is a sponsor. I'm sure there are other ones. I'm guessing the Conservation Club. But you can check our posters for the details on that. But the fireworks are always a great display here.
And if you're never been to Harmony on the 4th of July before and want to see those fireworks and want a great view of them, where do you suggest folks watch them from? Where's the best location?
Sure. Well, they're set off at North Park, which is over near the football field in town. So that area, you can pretty much see them all over town. So pick a good park and pull up a seat.
And of course, throughout the weekend, plenty of live music. Run down some of the folks that will be entertaining the folks this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, we have Sister Love coming back again this year, sponsored by Prosper Lumber. And we have Paul Schmidt coming to spend some time singing with us from 11 to 2. And he does a lot of classics like 70s music. And so that should be a nice chill time at Selvig Park. So bring a lawn chair and just hang out. It's not far from the bouncy houses. So send the kids over there and you can just relax.
And most people would stop the party on the 4th of July. You guys are going for 2 more days. Let's run down some of the Friday events coming up tomorrow.
Absolutely. So the Rucker League has a tournament going on. Make a Swish for Amy. It's a fundraiser for her, but there's still time to sign up for that. Just go to www.coasttocoastminnesota.com. We also have the Conservation Club's beer tent. That's going from noon to midnight, and they have Rhino coming in from 8 to midnight, and that's sponsored by the Harmony Area Community Foundation. So that'll be a lot of fun. So that's Friday. A lot of businesses will be open, so definitely take advantage of them. I know Niagara Cave will still be doing tours, Amish tours, and then of course you can always bike the Root River Trail system or come on over on bike.
And of course, that Niagara Cave Amish tours, biking the Root River Trail system, that's available this weekend. But those are some of the amenities that people can do anytime in the Harmony area, and part of what makes your community special.
Absolutely. They sure are.
And of course, the final day coming up on Saturday. Run down the highlighted schedule for the Saturday events.
Right. So at 10 o'clock, we have Yoga on the Green, and that's right over by our visitor center. It's free will donation, but that is being conducted by the Harmony Wellness and Yoga group that's downtown. And so they'll be there doing yoga, which is a great way to start the day. We have a lot of vintage stuff, cool stuff going on in Harmony on Saturday. So Harmony Spirits has their car show, and that's our distillery here, and they do that car show every year. So this year it's on a Saturday. We also have over at B-Balm Boutique a sidewalk vintage sale with Gingerbread Lane, and so that'll be just outside right next door to them, out in the street there. And then New Generations of Harmony Antique Mall has their outdoor vintage market, and of course their Amish mini farmers market going on too. And then over at Breakers at 2:00 they have live music by Sister Love. So we've got a great weekend where you have opportunities to see Sister Love twice in Harmony.
Can't beat that. Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on about the weekend activities, or anything else from the Harmony Chamber perspective that you want to pass on, as long as you got the forum?
Sure. Well, there's a lot happening here. It's a great time for the kids. Don't miss the parade. Bring your appetites. There's so many great food trucks and opportunities to just hang out and get to experience a nice small town 4th of July.
And left out of a food truck, you can't beat that. Erica,
No.
we thank you for taking the time and telling us all about everything coming up this weekend. I know it's a busy time of year for you, but that also makes it a fun time of year for you. Enjoy the festival this weekend. And again, thanks for taking a few moments to tell us all about it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Erica Tilges from the Harmony Chamber, Harmony 4th of July, continuing today, going through Saturday. Coming up this Saturday, it's the annual Independence Day celebration in Spillville at Riverside Park in the Inwood Ballroom. Spillville Mayor Paul Wermers joining us. And Paul, looking at the schedule of events coming up on Saturday, looks like a little bit of something for everyone, starting early in the morning and going up till late at night.
Yes, we do have a wide variety of activities. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today. Always love the opportunity to promote my little village.
And tell us, just run down the events on Saturday, starting early with the morning. I see probably getting a little exercise is probably the first thing on the agenda for a lot of people.
A good, healthy start to any day is a good agenda. So on Saturday, July 6th, our day is going to start off with the 5K fun run. And the start time is 8:30, but you can register at the school. And then after that, we're going to open up the gates to the Inwood at noon. And we have our famous Kelmer Cats versus Fort Atkinson Mallards baseball game. This is some incredibly enjoyable old school rivalry. And then later in the day, around 4 p.m., the Kelmer Lutheran Youth is going to be putting on kid games. And this is free with the admission to the park, which is $5 per person, $5 per car. And also all the youth kids are playing in their kid games. We're going to have the old time music. The community band will be playing in the small band show. Always an enjoyable hit, especially when it's a volunteer group of local musicians. And then on the big stage, the Ludwig stage, from 6 p.m. till the fireworks, we have the famous Avery Grouse Band. Absolute phenomenal music. I wouldn't miss that. And after the fireworks, you can also enjoy the music and not the traffic. Give it some time for the traffic to get out. Enjoy, and it's easier to get out. Also free with the gate admission at 5 p.m. There's free watermelon and root beer. And then for the ones that don't like the music, we have the DJ, which is more music, on the baseball diamond with Matt Shoddick, Blackout DJ. And of course, the fireworks will be starting around 9:30. And I tell you, our little village and our little volunteer groups, we put on a pretty enjoyable celebration. Love to see you guys there.
And you look at all of the activities you brought up, just for $5 per person, $5 per car. Where in today's world can you get that much fun, that much entertainment for such a low price?
Absolutely. And the fun thing about that gate donation is that all the money stays within the St. Wenceslas holy name, or it's spent on fireworks. There isn't an outside corporation that's making profit off of this.
And that's always a fun thing. What in your mind What in your mind has kept this Spillville Independence Day celebration going so strong for so long? And I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I remember going there as a kid, and but long before I could even think about driving. What has kept this celebration going so long in your community?
It's basically a simple principles of the 3 F's: faith, family, and fireworks.
And a lot of fun. Can we add a fourth F into there, or was the 3 F's copyrighted?
No, nothing's copyrighted. And it's a good community event, family members getting together, community members getting together. And it's nice to reconnect with their small, close-knit communities that we're blessed with here in Northeast Iowa.
No doubt about it. How much planning, how much work, how many people are involved in putting this event on?
The pyrotechnic group has been meeting regularly since December, and we have an estimated 900 effort hours into that. The Holy Name group, they get together for their pancake and sausage supper, and they mark out all the parking and come up with a game plan to get people in and out safely. Then, of course, they got the Civic Improvement Association, that's the Inwood, and they're going to have the kid games and the watermelon, and they do the networking with the Calmer Lutheran groups. And also this year, we have the Spillville American Legion and Auxiliary helping with the food in the Inwood. So they got brats and smoked pork and a wide variety of food. So if you want to thank your service member that's protecting our freedom, stop on down to Spillville at the Inwood and buy a sandwich.
And so many people involved in making this thing a reality. And that's really what small town and tri-state area celebrations are all about, aren't they?
Absolutely. We are blessed with the communities that we live in, and it sure is enjoyable to give back.
All right, Paul, anything else we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on as long as you got the forum?
Just come on down, enjoy the day, and keep it safe.
You bet. I'll let you give one final invitation to send folks to Spillville this coming Saturday.
Thanks for coming down to our village on Saturday, helping celebrate our freedoms. We appreciate it.
Simply put and beautifully stated there, Paul. Always good catching up with you this time of year. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for putting on this celebration, and thanks for what you do for the citizens of Spillville and everybody in the tri-state area, putting on a heck of a celebration to celebrate our freedoms this weekend.
My pleasure, Darren. My pleasure.
Paul Wermers, Mayor of Spillville, the Independence Day celebration, Riverside Park in the Inwood. The run starts today at 8:30. Inwood opens up at noon. Stay there all day. A heck of a lot of fun to be had. Next week, one of the most fun weeks of the summer in Winneshiek County. It's the Winneshiek County Fair, and Sandra Lien is with us from the Winneshiek County Fair Board. And I know, Sandra, we talk about the fair itself, and we'll get to all the fun, the excitement, the entertainment in that. But I know the Fair Board has done a tremendous job improving the grounds over the last few years. And noticing over the weekend on the Winneshiek Raceway Facebook page, you've added a new amenity for the races and the grandstand shows. Tell us about that.
And ticket booth has been added. Charlie family, we have created this wonderful 2-story building. The bottom level is ticket. The upper level is one side is an announcer box, and the other side is a VIP box. So people can reserve that and watch the races in the comfort of air conditioning.
And obviously, a lot of people make that possible. How important has been that commitment to improve the amenities, improve the facilities at the fairgrounds? It really started with the community building a few years back, and seemingly everything has been improved over the last about 10 years.
Well, it's an ongoing process that improvements need to be made. And, we every year we look to see what needs to be done and what can we do. Our goal is to improve the buildings and the grounds every year, not only to just maintain, but to improve. We're trying to increase more mobility. We're trying to increase the amount of areas that people that are mobility challenged can go to. We're create more lighting, better pathing, and bathrooms. We're just it's an ongoing process. Anybody who owns property knows that not only do you maintain, but you improve every year.
And I know the grandstand, the midway, the food, everything like that is a big part of the fair. But the biggest part of the fair is the 4-H and FFA end of things. And really on the schedule from the 4-H and FFA and the young people showing their animals, that really gets underway Sunday from what it looks like. Is that correct?
That is correct. Sunday is the 4-H FFA dog agility at 2:00. And then it finishes up Monday at 8 a.m. for the 4-H FFA dog show. So yes, the fair does technically start on Sunday.
And when it comes to numbers and people participating, the 4-H FFA numbers, are they as healthy as they've ever been?
Oh, yes. Even larger. And I think that's wonderful. That just shows that the commitment to the 4-H and the FFA is there. Not from the students to participate as well as the dedication from the student.
And let's run down the grandstand entertainment. Everything gets underway on Tuesday night. Why don't you just run down night by night what's going to be in front of the grandstand and how people can see the shows.
Absolutely. Actually, the grandstand events are going to start Monday night this year. We are having a free appreciation concert. It is Monday, July 8th at 7 p.m. And it is a 80s cover rock band called Not Quite Brothers. Absolutely amazing. Once again, free. We encourage anyone of all ages to come out for that. Then Tuesday night, we have our Winneshiek County stock car races. Wednesday night, we have the Barnes PRCA Rodeo. Thursday night, we have the NTPA truck and tractor pull. Friday night, we have Joe Nichols with Ashley Barron, and that starts at 7:30. Saturday, the headliner is Travis Denning, and it's going to be opening by Lien. And once again, that's at 7:30. So it is a very full week of evening events at the grandstand.
And I know the button system has been in place for quite some time. Is that in place once again this year?
It is. We have 2 buttons. We have a 3-day button that before the fair is $25, and that would be for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, because once again, Monday night is free. And then we have the 5-day event button that gets you in all nights, including the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the Friday and Saturday concert nights.
And how can people pick up buttons prior to the fair?
They can be purchased at Quick Star, at the bank. They can come down to the fairgrounds. They can call the fair. Fair board members have buttons. We have a multitude. You can buy them online. You can purchase them right online and then come down to the fairgrounds and pick them up.
All righty. And I know Evans United Show is going to be on the Midway once again this year, a fine Midway year in and year out. And there's a couple of wristband days for that once again on the Midway. Tell us about those.
Okay, wristband nights will once again be from Wednesday and Friday at 6 to 10 p.m. and then on Saturday from 1 to 5. And the wristbands are currently on sale for the pre-sale price at all of the local banks, including the drive-ins.
All right. And a lot of free entertainment on the grounds as well. I mean, it's one of those things. You walk into the fair, no admission price, nothing to park, and you can see a lot of things for free and be entertained.
Absolutely. And we have some new exciting events this year that I would like to talk about.
Okay.
The first one is, besides the free event on Monday night, is on Wednesday from noon until 2. We are having free family fun in the sun. And this is activities for families with small children, young children. We're going to have face painting. We have someone that's going to be making balloon animals. We have Pokey Pete that will be giving rides. We have some other painting events happening down there at that time. Just a lot of activities for families that can come down from noon until 2. And then on Thursday, following the 4-H FFA swine show, the Winneshiek County Fair is going to be starting Bacon Buddies. This is a wonderful event where a Special Olympics student is buddied up with 2 4-H FFA students. And after the swine show, then the buddy will come in and show their pig with their student that they've been working with. It is just a wonderful opportunity for everyone. It's heartwarming. It's wonderful to see. It's good for the Special Olympics child. It's good for the 4-H FFA student. It's just a wonderful event. It's been happening in other counties. We had talked about it for years, but didn't really do anything until the Dodd family approached us and said that they would like to start it and help with it. So in collaboration with them, we're going to be starting this year. I'm sure we're going to have lots of kinks to work out, but I'm just so excited for it.
And what a great idea. You mentioned you talked about it for quite some time. What finally made it come to fruition this year?
Well, the Dodd family, Jerica Dodd and her dad, Austin, and her mom, Marcy, just said, look, could we make this happen? And we went from, oh, we should do it, to absolutely, let's do it. We have someone that can help. Why wait? So we just decided to go for it. And once again, we'll have to work out, I'm sure, a lot of kinks, but it's going to be amazing. So we're so excited that we're doing this. We are also being sponsored by Lynch Livestock that day for the Bacon Buddies. So we just appreciate all the support, and we really hope to have a good crowd come out and see them.
Awesome. What a great idea. Anything else you want to pass on regarding the fair, as long as you got the forum this morning?
Well, I would encourage everyone to go to our website or to Facebook and look at the schedule. There are so many things that we can't talk about. We have Rolls with Royalty. We have Molly B coming back. We have horse drills and the children's pedal poles. And some of these things that were traditionally on one day have been changed to a different day. So I really encourage everyone to go to Facebook or our website and look at the daily activities, and just come on down. Join a contest to make cookies or barbecue. Come down to see the next kids show. There's just so many activities throughout the day that if you don't know and look at what it is, you're going to miss them.
Awesome. It's a really fun time year in and year out, and it'll be another fun event next week for the Winneshiek County Fair. Sandra, thanks for taking the time this morning, and best of luck with the fair next week.
Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.
Sandra Lien with the Winneshiek County Fair Board. Winneshiek County Fair, all the fun actually starts on Sunday. Grandstand entertainment, Monday free, all sorts of fun at the Winneshiek County Fair next week in Decorah. Hey, thank you to our guest on the program, State of Iowa veterinarian Dr. Jeff Kaisand, talking about the avian influenza in dairy herds in the state of Iowa. We appreciate the quality information that he provided there. Trevor Thomas with the Decorah Police Department, a special traffic enforcement program underway. It started yesterday. It will go through the weekend. Erica Tilges is with the Harmony Chamber of Commerce. Harmony 4th of July celebration continuing today, going till Saturday. It's always fun. The 4th of July celebration in Spillville. Always fun to catch up with my buddy Paul Wermers, the Spillville mayor. We appreciate him taking the time to tell us about what's going on in Spillville on Saturday. And Sandra Lien with the Winneshiek County Fair. That's always a great time of year. That begins next week in Decorah. Don't forget, we put these shows on YouTube each and every week. We realize you're busy. Might be sleeping in today. Might be getting the barbecue ready. Might be ready to go to the river or go to the lake or do whatever you want to here on the 4th of July holiday. We realize you can't always be near a radio or a smart speaker on a Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. We want to bring these interesting conversations with interesting people to you on your schedule. Go out on YouTube. Go to 74 Our Town Program. That is a possibility to get this show. You can actually watch the show at that location. It's another way we do our best to keep in touch with our communities here at LA Communications. We also put these links up on all of our Facebook pages as well. Be smart and be safe this weekend. Have a safe and happy 4th of July, because come next week, we want to be talking to you and not about you. A thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust. A thanks to our guest. And most importantly, we thank you. That's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Happy 4th of July.